and run a positive podcasting network. So I work with mostly women, but also men, to help them get their voice and their message out to the world, by helping them with their marketing, their administrative tasks, and also helping them to produce their podcast and get it up there on the air. And we also have a network, so we actually host the podcast ourselves.
Okay. And I absolutely love what you do.
Thank you.
So let's see who is next on my screen. Next, I have Jamie. I'm so excited to have you here, Jamie. I'm so
Thank
excited.
you.
I love new businesses. So
Yeah. So my name is Jamie Williams. I am in the process of trying to launch my new VA business. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to connect with some people and kind of just pick your brain a little bit. So I'm excited to be here.
okay, and let's see who's next. Next, I have Carlene.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm Carlene. I'm a connector and educator with 2 tools to help enhance our lives. I work with Send Out Cards. It's an online tool that using your phone or the mobile device, we set up your own account and you can create your own personalized cards and postcards, put your own message in photos, and the company will print them, get them in the mail for you, and the cards are 1/3 of the cost that you can get store-bought cards, plus they're more personal. I also have a health and wellness side. I work with Nicole Wellness on educating people how to stay healthy by choice. We work with unique and innovative technologies of the earth, air, sun, and rainforest to work around what you're already doing. And these are you have to experience, so I connect with people and just have a no obligation conversation with them. That's to keep it kind of short.
Yep, that's awesome. And Sophia, can you just share with us what you do and a little
Hi,
bit about who
ladies. How
you
are
are?
you? Hi, I'm Sophia Reynolds, owner of Sophie's Bookkeeping. I provide bookkeeping and tax services to small to medium-sized businesses. We specialize in QuickBooks, so we only work in books that are strictly using the QuickBooks software. So we provide hearing tax review, tax preparation for the entire year. We clean up books. If going back like to 5 years, we also give like a little tax planning and how to save on getting deductions and how to get your books in the right order. So this is like a busy time until October 15th.
Okay. Feels like you're always busy though, Sophia, because then after that you have to start getting people started for their
1099s.
yeah.
So it's like the break is like 4 weeks and then
Well, I
you're
hope
back at
during
it.
that 4 weeks you get some time to do some self-care related activity.
Well, you know what? I incorporate self-care within the busy time because you have to.
Yes, absolutely.
So I finished my exam. So now I'm officially an enrolled IRS agent.
Excellent.
Yeah, and so I'm back to reading novels. So I know I take my self-care very, very seriously. Very serious.
Excellent.
I do yoga in the mornings. I might read like a couple of pages in the morning. Then I'll go out in the backyard because COVID, you can't really go anywhere. So I go in the backyard with the dog. So I do take my self-care very, very seriously. And I'm sorry, my dog is barking at the mailman.
Okay, I'm going to mute you, Sophia, so that we don't have to enjoy your dog barking. But Gina, you want to just very quickly tell us who you are and what you do?
Good morning, ladies. I'm sorry for being tardy. I am Gina Johnson. I'm a holistic business coach, and I work with women entrepreneurs, currently helping shift and change and pivot your business to serve your clients where they are right now in the state of this global pandemic.
Awesome. I love the pivoting part. And Julie, we're just quickly going around the room saying who we are and very briefly what we do.
Hi, everyone. I'm Julie Clark. My greatest desire is to help people live a healthy life using my natural technologies of nature and organic. I have many different solutions, awesome specials going on right now for August. So if you want to save a lot of money and get free shipping, um, two big things, water purifier. What kind of water are you drinking, and are you drinking enough water? Our healthy alkaline water is the best ever. And what kind of air are you breathing? Indoor air is very polluted these days. So you want to breathe pure, healthy air. If you don't have an air purifier, you might want to call me before Monday so that you can save 10% and free shipping on a unit that I've been using for 15 years. Prior to having it in my bedroom, I needed nasal spray for my allergies every night. 3 months after having it in my bedroom, I haven't needed my allergy spray since. It doesn't mean my allergies are gone. It just means that my lungs have a time to clear while I'm breathing healthy air at night while I'm sleeping. Makes a huge difference. So
Awesome,
I
Julie.
have many solutions.
You have
Call me.
lots of solutions, and we have very little time. So I'm going to move over to Lori. Lori, I see that you are muted. Would you mind sharing who you are and what you do?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly.
Great. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning,
I'm
Lori.
the founder and CEO of Inspire Greatness Coaching Consulting. I'm a creation catalyst, and I actually help women leaders in organizations and entrepreneurs to really focus on getting outside of their comfort zone so that they can be aware of and take advantage of all of the endless opportunities that are available to them.
Beautiful.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
I'm so glad you made it. Awesome. Now, I am going to invite our amazing guest, Nicole, to hop on mic. So I invite you to unmute yourself. And Nicole is our special guest today because she has a virtual assistant company, and she's going to take us through the ins and outs of actually using a virtual assistant. So Nicole, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Well, thanks so much for having me on the show. I appreciate it, and I'm glad to be here. My name is Nicole Bandas. My background, got a degree in psychology and kind of went down the coaching consulting path for a number of years. And my focus in coaching was on productivity. And I worked with solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, and what most of them kept telling me was, I just need to clone myself. I need somebody that can do the things that I don't have time to do. But as solopreneurs, one of their biggest struggles was that communication piece. They didn't know how to communicate. They didn't know how to get out of what was in their head out and translate that to something that a VA or a freelance consultant or an expert of some sort could understand. So that's where I saw sort of an opportunity for myself and realized that there's this unique kind of that left brain, right brain type thing where I can communicate with the coaches and consultants and other service-based entrepreneurs and help them to communicate with their freelancers, with their VAs, with their social media managers and all of that good stuff so that they're not struggling with the outsourcing piece. So that's where Virtual A-Team was kind of born. And and to me, it's a gift to be able to give back time to individuals. I'm just going to give a really short, but very vulnerable story. In 2013, my husband and I lost one of our sons, and he died in a car crash. He was 3 weeks from his 17th birthday. And if any of you have ever experienced deep loss before, you know the process of kind of going through all of the time that you had spent with the individual while they were still alive. And one of the gifts that I received from that experience was that I didn't have any woulda, coulda, shouldas, which which told me that I had deliberately chosen the time that I had to spend with him, and I used it with intention. And that's the gift that I want to be able to give back. I don't want people to be stuck doing the minutia in their business. If they can take that and give it to somebody else that shines in that area and use that time for what really truly matters the most.
Thank you so much, Nicole, for sharing that story. And certainly, we're very, very sorry for your loss.
Thank
And
you.
I would, my question to you would then be, who is an ideal client for your business?
My agency is a boutique agency, so we really hand select the individuals that we work with. We want to work with fewer, not more. And those individuals are going to be coaches and consultants or other service-based entrepreneurs. But those individuals that really want to thrive, they want to have a thriving business, but they don't want to work 40, 60, 80 hours a week doing it. They want to thrive in 30 or less, 20 or less hours a week, and do what they do best and let somebody else do all the rest.
So you've been running a virtual assistant firm for a while now. I'm sure you have lots of stories that you could tell about the things that we really should not be doing when we're talking to our virtual assistants or when we're considering working with a virtual assistant. And I'm sure you have lots of do's of things that we should be doing when we are giving consideration to whether or not this is a good idea for us. So what would you say are the do's for hiring a virtual assistant?
Well, one of the first do's is to have a clear understanding of what it is that you want to delegate. And sometimes this is a hard piece because you may not really know. So that first conversation could simply be, I'm not really sure what I need to get off my plate. I'm not sure what makes the most sense. And sometimes a consultation with a VA or a consultation with an agency can help you to determine those things. But before you take that leap into a full engagement with a VA or with a freelancer of some sort, it's important to really understand what it is that you want to get off your plate. And I usually start with what do you least like to do, but you have to do? Like for some of us, it's bookkeeping. We can't stand doing the bookkeeping. For some, it's social media, so it's kind of like, what are those things that you're just like, when you think of sitting down and doing those things, it just makes you cringe. And that is what you're going to procrastinate. So that's one of the areas that you really want to focus on getting off of your plate. The other thing is the things that you're just not good at. So there may be some things that you don't mind doing, you kind of enjoy doing it, but honestly, at the end of the day, if we had to look at it, you're just really not that great at doing it. And so somebody else can do it much more efficiently than you can. And this is one of those key areas that you look at. So you kind of look at, what do you not like doing and what are you not good at doing? And then the third is really, there is a bucket of things that this is the path that I went down. There were so many things that I knew how to do. I was actually pretty good at doing them. I actually kind of enjoyed doing them, but it was not the best use of my time. There were things that I should have been doing instead of these other things, like developing a website or doing my social media or editing my own podcasts, those kind of things. It's like, hey, you know what? I'm kind of a really good Jill of all trades, but I should not be doing these things. So that would be the third bucket of the things that you can outsource and that makes the most sense to start with.
Awesome. I absolutely agree with you on that. For example, in our situation, and I have one virtual assistant, but I do have staff that does things, and it is really important to figure out who is brilliant at doing what, like giving everybody an opportunity to be in their brilliance, because they will thrive. Marin, she's amazing with doing our social media. She does that. I wouldn't necessarily hand that over to Sandy because that's not her favorite thing to do. So I totally, totally understand what you're saying. Talk to me a little bit about some of the don'ts, some of the things we should
So
be really avoiding?
yeah, so one of the big things that I see, and we could probably have a whole conversation about this, but one of the big things that I see is I see people hiring a VA, and then they expect that VA to be able to do everything. So just as you were tapping on there, you wouldn't have Sandy do your social media, and it's the same reason that we're offloading some of this stuff, because we're not good at everything. One VA is not going to be good at everything you do. So sometimes if that's the kind of path you look at, you find the VA that's going to be focused on the core things that you want to start with. And then you may need to hire another outsourced individual or another person to be able to do, maybe your VA is doing your admin and your bookkeeping, but you need a different person that's going to be able to do your social media, or a different person that's going to be able to manage the writing, the content writing for your website, or something along those lines. So, don't expect one person to be able to do everything. It's just not feasible to think that way. And you're not getting their zone of brilliance when you do that. So that's one of the don'ts. Another big don't is, don't be the broken, the weakest link in that transaction. So one of the things I see a lot of solopreneurs struggle with is, when they first start working with a VA, they're used to doing everything themselves. So if I get a brilliant idea to create an online course for something, then I sit down when I have my free time and have this brilliance and start knocking out this online course. And I know what the workflow is like. I can pace myself. If I get bored with it, I can move on to something else. But when you're working with a team, it works totally different. You have to have plans in place. You have to realize that there's an extended time frame for getting things done. A VA is not going to be able to just jump on an idea that you had at 12 o'clock at night and start knocking out this course for you.
Why on earth not?
Because you're probably not paying them for more than a few hours a week. So, or even 10 hours a week. They're not a full-time employee for you. And even if they were a full-time employee, you're not paying them for their hours at 12 o'clock at night. So,
Exactly.
The odds are that a VA has another client as well. So they may be able to respond to you within 24 hours and at least begin that conversation, but they're probably not likely to be able to turn things over as quickly. That means you have to have some forethought in this process. You have to realize that if I send this blog over to my VA at 7 p.m. on a Tuesday night, and I want it out by 8 a.m. Wednesday morning, that's probably not going to happen. So it's giving your VA enough turnaround time and expectations. And if you're working with a good VA, or if you're working with an integrator and an online business manager, they can help you plan things out. They kind of serve as your strategic guide in that way to help you plan these things out. But just don't expect it to be the flip a switch and have things happen as quickly as if you were to do it yourself.
I like that. I like that. And, it really goes back to really making the time to do your planning. I would like for us to talk a little bit about the technology that can help us to work better with the assistants, the virtual assistants, the online business managers. And I totally get what you're saying, because between us and our VA, we do have a time zone difference. And so whenever we're sending out any projects, 48 hours is what we expect for a turnaround, because we don't even expect him to see it until 24 hours time, just because of the big time difference that we have. So I totally get that. That makes perfect sense. But tell us, technology wise, are there any tech tools, apps, websites that can help us?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the very first one that I would be remiss if I didn't even mention and start with is having a project manager. And we could get hung up on what project manager, what's the right one. And I've got a whole podcast coming out on what's the right project manager and how to choose that. But it really, it doesn't matter which one you use as long as you have something. And, you know, my agency actually provides that to our clients. But so if you don't have one, you get one built into the service. But using that project manager to really outline the tasks.
What are some examples of
so it would
different
be
ones
like
that you'd like?
the most common ones are like Trello and Asana, and now there's Monday is a really big one. They each have kind of their pros and cons.
Why are
My
people
agency,
liking Monday?
why are they liking it? Because
Yeah.
it's kind of a cross between Asana, which has some benefits, and Trello, which has different benefits. It's more of a visual, and it allows you to kind of create some workflows that are more automated instead of just having to manually walk through some of those workflows. So it's actually, I've played around with it. I have a couple of clients that use it, so we do kind of dabble in there now and then. My company uses a big one called Teamwork Projects, which is more of an agency level type thing, but it's really powerful. It's got a lot of tons of bells and whistles. So
I like bells. I like
yeah.
whistles. Gina, were you one of the people who uses Monday?
Gina does, yeah.
No, okay. Just
No,
wondering.
I use Trello, and I love Trello. And I actually have someone I actually just got off the phone with who's looking for a virtual assistant. I love what you're saying, Nicole. I'm a huge, huge fan of virtual assistants. I've always have one. Mine is maxed out, so I am looking for someone else. So I will make that connection for you. But I love Trello, and it's a great way to communicate. I don't even want to hear about Monday or Asana or anything else because I ran down the aisle in Vegas with Trello, so it's over.
Awesome. We use Asana in the office, and for the very first time, we're using Asana for Summit. So I'm looking forward to feedback, Gina, after this summit about how your experience with Asana was. But I think we cut you off, Nicole. So
that's okay.
You can keep telling us about tech tools that we might like.
Yeah, I'll just kind of, Trello tends to be more for the visual person, and it's a very visual thing. If you are visual, then that's definitely the one to go for. Whereas Asana tends to be more analytical and linear, and so it's a lot of different brain types, and that's when I'm talking to people about which one to pick. That's usually what I go on is, how does your brain work? That's where you start with. So another tool that I love using, and there's some different ones out there that are similar to this, but the one that I use is called useloom.com. And what this does is it allows you to record yourself and your screen as a video. So if you're trying to walk somebody through a process or a system, you can actually visually record it instead. I happen to be dyslexic, so reading a lot of I love to read, but it is not the best way that I'm going to comprehend information. So,
and that's useloom.com.
Correct. Okay. Yeah, if you just do Google search for Loom, you'll find it, Loom. But it's free. There's some paid ones, but the basic, all you would need is free. You just click record, and it records you as you're kind of walking through the process on your computer. And whenever my team comes to me and says, hey, can you help me troubleshoot this? I'm like, send me a video of what you're talking about. And then all they do is they just pop on and they walk through it as they're doing it, and they talk through. So it's literally like having a Zoom call, but when you don't actually have to be there together at the same time. So one of my team members the other day, she only had time in the evening to do this, and then I had to work on it in the morning. But I didn't want to get on a Zoom call on my evening hours, so she just recorded it and sent it over, and that was perfect. So that's one of my favorite tools to use, and it's really, really, really super handy for that.
Excuse me, what's that called again? Loom what?
Use Loom. So it's like...
Yeah, because I do a lot of QuickBooks demonstration.
Yes.
Know that everything is by Zoom, so that would be perfect for me.
Yeah. This is when you don't want to get on that Zoom call. It's just a quick, easy pop it into your computer. It works on your Chrome browser. I'm sure there's other browsers it works on too, but
Yeah.
it really super handy.
Okay.
Awesome. Any other tools that you can think of that we might like? Because this one is new to me. I have actually never used Loom, and I feel like I've used pretty much a lot of the tools.
Yeah, it's good. The LastPass. I can't speak enough about
Oh.
LastPass or another online username password kind of tool. When you're giving over some keys to the kingdom, you have to be able to control who has your usernames and passwords and be able to revoke those if necessary. Worst case scenario, fortunately I've never had to do that, but you have to be able to revoke that access and know who's got access to your usernames and passwords at any given time. So LastPass allows you to not only keep your own usernames and passwords, but to share those with others on a limited basis. And it's a secure way to share it as opposed to just sending it in an email, which is not very secure. So that is definitely one I would absolutely, you got to have.
Okay.
Yeah, that one I use because I have my clients' financial info,
Yeah.
Access to the banks and stuff. So I've been using that like for 2 years or since they started. It's a really good one to have. And I use it for myself too.
And
oh yeah, I couldn't live without it for myself.
Nope.
My memory's not that good.
what I like with it, if you forget your password, it's like you're at the immigration going through the airport. They need your license. They need your, oh my God, I locked myself out, did not remember password. And it was rough getting back in. So I like that. That's like really good.
And you can save other things like credit card information, the security codes. Like if you have those security questions for your password resets, then you can save the answers to those in there and, all kinds of stuff. I use it to fill forms. So all I have to do is say, fill out this form with Nicole's business information. And it just drops all the information in. So multi-purposed.
And Susan, you had a comment about LastPass?
I was just going to say that for anyone who hasn't used it, you don't actually give your password to your team or to your people that you're working with. It just gives you access, so you can click a button and it gets you into your client's site, but you're not actually passing out that password. So they don't ever see your password.
That's awesome. I love that. So this is a topic that I feel like we could use a revisit on because it's something that I think a lot of us are using VAs and we could all use
Excuse
VAs.
me, guys. I got to go. I have to jump on another meeting.
Okay.
But it was nice seeing you all.
Nice to
Gina,
see you
haven't
too,
seen you in a while.
Yeah, so
Bye.
in our effort to stay close to time so that we don't end up losing everybody, and of course so that I can get back to seeing patients, I would invite you, Nicole, if you are open to it, to coming back at another day and we can grill you a little bit more, ask you some more questions and get some more feedback. But before you go, last question, any words of wisdom for us? Any just last things that you don't want us to leave without remembering?
Having a VA is not an expense, it's an investment. And you really have to look at it from that, that perspective. I know a lot of people are like, I can't afford a VA. And I said for years, I couldn't afford a VA when I was doing my coaching business. And what I realized over time was I couldn't afford not to have a VA. Depending on the level of management you want to have involved, there's very affordable ones up to, hey, it's totally hands off. I mean, this VA is like basically running my business for me kind of thing. But I spent more time doing the things that I thought I couldn't afford to outsource. And it ended up causing me not to do the things that were going to make the cash register sing. So I was costing myself more money by not outsourcing these things.
Outstanding point. I remember one of my very first business coaches that I ever had, and I always have a coach, everybody knows this. She said to me, you don't want to be spending your time doing the things that are less expensive. You want to spend your time doing only two things. You want to be doing the thing that you do in your business, and you want to spend time out there getting new business. That's pretty much all you should be doing. Everything else, find somebody to do it. And one of our mentors, Sandra Yancey, she loves to talk about how she cut off her cable, and she, you know, stopped doing a lot of the extra things in her life in order to be able to afford the help that she needed in her business. And I absolutely recommend that, because that's what gets the cash register to sing. So
That's
Nicole,
right.
you're awesome for joining us. Really appreciate it. Thanks to all the people who joined us over in Facebook land. Thanks to Susan and Barb and Rosa and Carlene and Gina and Julie and Lori, and also to Sophia for joining us over here today. I just want to remind everybody that coming up on the 21st of September is our Ladies Power Lunch Summit. It's our fall summit, and we're going to be looking at the obstacles that have been presented to us by this pandemic and looking for the ways to turn them into opportunities. It's not going to be your traditional Zoom meeting. It's actually going to be a workshop style meeting. And we do have one of our amazing speakers here with us today, Gina, and she is going to be also one of our pre-note speakers, and that's coming up on the 9th of September, where she'll give us a little bit of a taste of the sort of workshops that you can expect to attend during our summit. So I invite you to all stay tuned for that. I hope you all will catch your early bird tickets. Early bird tickets are on sale currently, and the ticket sales for early bird tickets end on Monday. Thanks everybody for joining us. It was really informative.
Thanks.
Nicole, you're awesome. And I'll see you all at 1 when we have Free Gift Friday. Bye guys.
Thank
Bye.
you.